Okay, let's see Vietnam. Vietnam is one of those communist countries that let's say, one of those few remains. And from what I understand, Vietnam is actually a pretty decent traveling destination. So it's kind of weird, especially from the West, to just go in a communist country like that. But I want to check it for myself, so we're gonna see exactly how those people live. But first, let's look at the population. Now, Vietnam is one of those huge, insane population countries. So over 100 million people living there, and the population still growing. Thankfully, the growing rate is going down, so we're gonna see a stabilized population probably by the mid-century. But if not, probably by the end of the century. Now, 1955, around 28 million people were in Vietnam, with a growing rate about 2.3%. That will translate roughly in 600,000 people, net increase in population. They say migration zero, but yeah, it's kind of hard to have that number taken seriously. Median age around 22 years old, and one of those nonsense fertility rate back then, 5.5. We can see they got as high as 6.2. So yeah, one of those nonsense, how I call it, fertility rate. Urban population 13%, so that's pretty much nothing. And global rank 18. So fast forward to 2025, 101 million people. Yearly change around 0.6, so they got below 1%. That will translate roughly in 610,000 people, so pretty much kind of the same with the 1955. Migration now, minus 48,000 people, so that's something I would say. And median age around 34 years old. Fertility rate down to earth, 1.9. They got below replacement, I think around 2005. They got below above in 2015, but you can see a trend here. So yeah, now urban population around 42%, which is a pretty big increase. Now 2050, the future, 110 million people, and that it looks like it's going to be the last year of growth. Now with the communist country, it's kind of, I would say, hard to predict what's going to happen, and because the real number, from my experience at least, it's going to be hard to have it or demonstrate it, so we're gonna take those numbers as true, but expect some differences. Now 110 million people, that will be, like I say, the probably where they're gonna land with population growth, and from there I expect by the end of the century to go actually down. So clearly they're gonna end the century most likely under 100 million people. But yearly change, you can see here 65,000 people. Migration still on minus around 32,000. Median age 40 years old, and fertility rate again 1.75. So again, that going down constant below replacement rate is going to be a trend here. Urban population around 60%, so that's something. Now, life expectancy here, well, for the both sexes, it's going to be 75 years old. Females 80 and males 71, so quite a difference between female and males. It's kind of pretty high, I would say, pretty high for a country like, let's say, Vietnam. But we're gonna see exactly how those people live. Now, infant mortality rate 14.3, and death at the age of 5 19.3. So clearly the medical system, it's almost non-existent. So they need to improve that pronto. Now you can see the pyramid here. Well, we have a male surplus like pretty much any other country. We have some shaky grounds here around the person between, I say, 17 and 25. You can see a dip here in population, but you're gonna see now they reform the base, and like I say, probably by the 2050 you're gonna see already getting narrow and narrow the base. You're gonna see even narrow and narrower than that. So yeah, with the population living that much in a communist country, that could be a serious problem. But we're gonna see in the future how those people actually live with that. Now, economics, well, keep in mind 101 million people, and then they're gonna rise to another 10% of that, so not a huge one. 10 million people is still a huge amount of population, but for the country that already have 100 million people, increasing 10% is not gonna affect that much, I would say. GDP 490 billion US dollar and 1.7 trillion PPP US dollar, which is pretty huge. Growing rate pretty decent, especially for those, if you go, let's say, around half a trillion and you have like 5-7% increase, I would say that pretty not amazing, I would say, but still very, very well for them. For half a trillion, if you have 10%, that would be great, amazing. For a trillion, even better. But yeah, they going in that direction, I would say. So yeah, growing rate, it looks on the paper looks pretty good. Now GDP per capita, because they have that so many people, they're gonna be not even 5,000 US dollar nominal, and PPP around 17,000. So not a huge one, I would say. Agriculture is gonna be like 11%. Industry 38% and services 42%. Yeah, clearly you produce a lot of t-shirt and shoes here, and probably rice and whatever agriculture goods they have. Main exporters going to be USA, then China, European Union, Asian. It's pretty much one of those groups of country in Asia, South Korea and Japan, and they're going to import a lot from China, South Korea, Asian, Taiwan, Japan, and United Europe. Let's go to United States of Europe. That's going to be probably the future name of the European Union. Now, corruption. Now, it's still communist country, so yeah, don't expect to see very low, but we're gonna see the numbers. So yeah, I would say, like I said, anything that's not blue, they need to reform immediately, but we're gonna see how Vietnam is gonna land it. So let's check for them. Let's look from the alphabetical, because not exactly where they're gonna. Vietnam, so 40 and drop 5 positions. So yeah, not ideal, I would say, but okay, it is what it is. Like I say, if you're not on the blue, you still have to work. If you're on the blue, keep working, because you're always gonna have to work in this department. Now, history, well, I don't think how much important that is, but well, let's face it, you have it here. French Indochina, so clearly some French influence here in Vietnam. I'm waiting to see that, so I am actually quite curious. So let's go exactly how those people live. Well, we don't have a red line of the border. Probably they have some disputes with the borders, but I'm not interested in that right now. But I am interested in the fact that we have a lot of street views and a lot of 360s to judge for, so that's pretty good. So let's start with them. Let's go randomly on the map as always. I have no idea where we are. I didn't see anything before this video, so just gonna judge it exactly how we see it. So first of all, the road is pretty good. The housing market, well, let's say it's too early to judge for that, but from what I can see here, not that well. But the road, pleasant surprise so far. And the quality of those 360 and street views, depends how you want to call it, so far not so well. This is 2024, so very recently, so I would expect a much better quality. This house right here actually looks pretty nice. I like the gate on across the road, doesn't look that impressive, so this one I think it's much better. We have some banana trees here, that's pretty nice. I think they're banana trees, right? I have one of those in my parents' yard, so yeah, I think I'm able to recognize it now. The road is level to the ground, which I always gonna say that, because in with this green grass here looks amazing. Look at this, it's exactly how it's supposed to look, every single one of them. In this north part of the country, I don't know why they sell it. They keep them there to dry. I have no idea what they're doing, but it looks pretty nice, I have to say. Vietnam, like I say, Vietnam is supposed to be one of those very nice country to visit. So yeah, I actually heard a few person that they say they got in Vietnam to visit and they kind of like it. So I say, okay, let's try it. Let's see how those people actually live there. Well, here landscape pretty nice, and we are like 150 meters above the sea level. That's the elevation of this 360. The bridge doesn't look that safe, I have to say. Yeah, they have a steel frame, but this wood doesn't look that well. But they have like a nice design, I would say. Look at this design, it's actually pretty nice. You might die here, but hey, at least you die with style, so I'm always for that. Now let's see something else. Let's go in the west part of the country. Clearly a lot of things to see here, so probably gonna stay a bit in this country. Now a lot of garbage here, which I don't like it. So when I say communist country, I always say, oh, it's gonna be one of those very strict countries that like used to be. But yeah, clear the population. It doesn't matter which system it is. It's always gonna do their own thing. Wow, this region right here, I kind of like it. Look at this, a nice, from the above at least, look like a nice houses, tight community, nice lands, even a lake here. They have some other communities a bit bigger with them, so I am actually, would be amazing if you have more 360s from that region there, because it looks pretty nice, but unfortunately we haven't. We have one for the above now. I don't think it's exactly from there. One of those praying places. Now it's funny, communists, especially in Europe, they never like the region. They always try to, let's say, suppress that. But hey, I guess here it's a bit different. So the culture is still gonna have an impact even in politics. It doesn't matter how much they change. Now here looks actually pretty nice. I like those flowers. I like this wood deck here. I like these long boats. Actually pretty nice, yeah. If they work, I recommend something, again, work on the 360s and street views, make it as best as possible, because you can see here in my videos, if somebody's watching, that would be like a nice promoter for a tourist area. Wow, a BMW in the communist yeah, it is. How much money they have per capita? Around 5,000. We're gonna go with the nominal one, because one of those cars is gonna be pretty much built outside the countries, and it's gonna cost still pretty close to the MSRP of the other countries. So yeah, that's an expensive car. Well, I guess they're doing pretty well there. Now, even cars that are not so old. The road, again, very nice. Good for them. Housing in this region, well, I guess it is pretty much like a market district or something like that, because we see a lot of stores here. Yeah, I would say a little bit of, let's say, garbage in some areas. Maybe they're just under construction, so I'm not gonna say too much about that. Pretty decent. Again, keep in mind, this is Southeast Asia. This is Indochina, for God's sake. So we expect to see things getting more, let's say, relaxed in this part of the world, which is pretty nice. I guess that's why Western people going here in vacations just want to have that feeling that it's a bit loose, not so many tight rules. But again, keep in mind, it's the communist country, so I'm not sure exactly where that stops, where that begins, especially in how, let's say, freedom of speech on freedom of speech department. But yeah, you should keep that in mind. But again, as a tourist, maybe they get a bit more, let's say, understanding with that. Now let's go. I think the capital is right here. I'm not sure exactly, yeah, by judging by that. So let's see this one. Well, kind of expect to see those nonsense high buildings, communist one, but let's see. A lot of garbage on the road, which again, garbage, pretty much fault of the people. A lot of cables here. This is, wow, that's insane. Look at this. If you have a short one of those cable, good luck with that, finding which one it is. Scooters, which, yeah, pretty nice. You can see pretty much a street full of them. You know what, not pretty typical, I would say, from the Indochina, from the Southeast Asia. Let's check another street. Again, a lot of scooters here. Buildings, well, they have that vibe of high elevation, let's call it like that. Multiple store buildings, and this is 2022, so again, pandemic here. This one, it looks unfinished, but it looks like somebody just trying their clothes there, so probably it's livable, who knows. Yeah, they have those timers in stoplights. That's pretty neat. I like that. What else? Well, not that many cars actually, so more scooters than cars. So probably, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be. I think there are some countries in these regions. I'm not sure exactly. Like I say, I try to don't make too much digging, because I want to be surprised when I make those videos. There are a few countries like they have insane high taxes on cars. especially if you import it and stuff like that. So, but I don't think the Vietnam is one of those countries, because clearly we have some cars here. Road, again, road pretty good. Nothing to say. Probably because they have so many scooters, and the cars, they being much lighter than the cars, they don't take that much toll of the road. On the road, that's a Mercedes, or I didn't see that right. No, it's not. I think it's an S-Class, but no, it isn't. It isn't. Keep in mind, 2022, so very recently. The cars look pretty recent too. So, but again, it's just very poor street view, so it's kind of hard to judge it, the quality of them, how well they maintain those cars. But I guess we're gonna have to do more digging for that. Now, oh, what the fuck is that? This AC looks like from 50 years ago. I don't know, they have bars here. That's a bed. That's probably another bed there. So yeah, doesn't look that nice at all. This is very pretty much like a shoebox. Yeah, no way somebody should live like that. No one should live like that, no matter what. Probably gonna live better, live better here, you know, in the countryside, in the woods. But I guess it is what it is now. Keep in mind, this is the capital, so the main cities. When, oh my god, look at this garbage here. That's fucked up. When all of those people actually, most of the people, not most of the people, like again 100 million something people, but a lot of people are gonna live here in the crowd spaces, so we kind of expect those kind of things, but not that bad, for God's sake. That's pretty bad, I would say. Building, again, pretty basic for these countries. This is 2014, so pretty while back. So yeah, more than 10 years. A lot of scooters, a few cars each and there. Road pretty good, but I guess back then it was brand new. So yeah, oh, we have some nice highways. Let's check these ones. Oh, why do they have so many? Pretty nice here, I like it. Again, those nonsense building. Now, even in the West we have those, so yeah, just a personal preference. I don't like it. It's not one of those, like I say, communist building. Clearly they didn't use that much glass back then, but it's just a personal thing that I actually hate it. But yeah, I see it. That's more modern, definitely. We have a Mercedes here. Yeah, those actually places are pretty well maintained. The road pretty nice. I wish, like I say, wish for a better 360 to actually can see some more details. But again, I guess it is what it is. But it looks pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. I think if Vietnam has one of those, exactly, I don't think exactly it's this one, but I think they have a car that they actually build here, not just build it, just an own brand of their country, of the country. So yeah, that's pretty interesting to have a car. Probably it's gonna be much cheaper than anything that we're gonna import from outside, but the quality, from what I understand, is not top notch. Now I have no idea what is this. The studio, it's renting. It's a company here, but probably it's one of those high new buildings built. So that probably they just want to show us the interior, which wasn't that bad, I have to say. Now a 360 from above. Those individual houses, I think they look much better than those insanely high apartments. But again, with the country that has 100 million people and still rising, it would be absolutely, I would say, impossible not to see one of those high, insanely multiple store buildings. So I guess it is what it is. Probably Vietnam, if they have, let's say, only 10 million people, that would be a huge change. Much better living. And once the population is gonna go down again, this century is kind of shot for them, but the next one, probably they're gonna do very well. I'm not saying now they're doing that bad, not that well, but clearly not that well either. But okay, not bad. It could be much worse. The road pretty nice. You can see that's the police. No, that's like a taxi or something. Hanoi taxis. Road pretty good. Again, I have to keep saying that the infrastructure so far was very nice. We have a night sky here. Well, I like they using those warm lights and you don't see it. Here in the west, from whatever reason, I have no idea who thought it's gonna be a good idea to use those white lights, a more cold one temperature, cold temperature of the light, which is looks so horrible. Look at this, a nice yellow warm light is gonna look 10 times better than anything. So yeah, I'm not interested exactly like oh, it's gonna say justify like the white color is gonna be much better for the eyes, which I highly doubt that. Usually blue color is bad for light for eyes, but look at this, it looks much more nicer, much more warmer, much more welcoming than that fucked up light. Now probably I would say someone selling this land and make this 360 from a drone, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, those buildings here, look at this, they have so much space that they just crowded there. Just no way, that's bad planning in my opinion. But we have to remind that every single time when you have 100 million people in a country, that is not huge one also. You're gonna have to do some compromises in urban development, let's call it like that, until the population is gonna start going down. That's a nice cars right there. It is 2024. So I expect even here in the west, with time, when the population is going down, they're gonna have some, especially when you pass this economic nonsense that's happening right now, when they're actually gonna have people with more financial power. I expect some pretty drastic change in the way they build, even the apartment buildings, but also the individual houses, because people, I think, is gonna go for beauty more this time, and with a land that it's gonna pretty much have the same land for less people, you can have more space. I would say that's gonna be a very welcoming change. So beauty and also efficiency is gonna be much better. So now this is a street when cars are not allowed, judging by this sign. Yeah, a few cars enter, I guess. And this one probably is not a car exactly. So yeah, they have one of those one-way streets, I guess, so very narrow one, just don't allow cars. Now this is 2019 and the quality is pretty much horrible in this area. The garbage, I don't like it here, and also those apartment buildings, just no way, thank you. Yeah, again, we are in Hanoi, we are in the one of those main cities. How much can you expect, I guess? You know, it is what it is. How much can you... Oh, look at this, an Audi here, it's a Q7, this is 2024, so recently, but the Audi, that model is pretty old, I have to say. But still, hey, they have nice cars. I'm not sure exactly how well they maintain it, but the cars are pretty nice. Yeah, let's go outside. So I think we can see quite a lot from the main city, and I'm here to see the beach. Let's see how nice those beaches really are, because in the last video in Laos they didn't have, they were a landlocked country, so didn't have the chance. Now this one is not on my taste. A lot of people, a lot of garbage here, whatever the fuck happened there, I don't know. But the tree, the forest looks pretty nice, I have to say. That close to the sea, not so bad. Let's move on. This one looks like communities of people just building in this area. Very strange. Very strange way of building. My God. Oh, that's a hotel. I think it was somebody's house. So like, what the fuck? Yeah. Roads again, pretty good. Not perfect in this area. Clearly, we have some potholes here and there. So, but still, probably it's not one of those main roads that need constant care. So they kind of do it once and that's it. Now here, yeah, this garbage, I don't like it at all, especially pretty much in the river. It's not gonna do well. An expensive car here, somebody just drying his clothes there. Yeah, not so great of the image, I have to say. It's not a river, actually, it's very close to the sea in that part, so clearly all those garbage probably is gonna end up in a sea. This one from above, well, This guy who made this 360 didn't choose a great day to make them, so I guess we're gonna have to deal with what we have. Let's check this side road. Again, the quality of those 360s and street views, very bad. And this is 2014, 2024. Yeah, what the fuck? I expect much more than that. Let me sure I don't go outside the country. So yeah, we are still in Vietnam in this part here. Well, we have some 360s here. Let's check this one. So far, I would say not so bad, but who knows? Maybe I prefer so far Laos a bit more. But we still have a lot to see in Vietnam. Yeah, probably because with Laos I expected so much less, and I got much more. But we're gonna see when we're gonna land with Vietnam by the end of the video. So far, like I say, not so bad actually. But you have to keep in mind, 100 million people. Yeah, it's not gonna be easy to manage, no matter which type of government you use, and how big is the country it is, and all that stuff. Some expensive, like a Mercedes here. Road pretty good again. Well, anything else? They have those little stores here, which is pretty interesting, but nothing extremely amazing. Let's go for the center of the town, the city. Let's go here. Looks like the center to me. I'm not sure exactly. Again, the same bad quality. Roads pretty good. Buildings pretty modern. This is pretty much like, I guess, like a mall or something. They're using those green taxis here, which is kind of weird. The color is pretty much hurts my eyes, and it just doesn't want to go forward for whatever reason. Yeah, it just stuck there. Let's check another street. It looks again, oh, that's a new car. It's a Mitsubishi L200. Here, yeah, much more jam traffic here, we can see. Buildings, well, not so tall. I kind of like it, but yeah, I don't like those bars there. It looks like you're in a prison or something. You know what? I wish I can go on this street. Oh, we can. Well, I expected a bit more. I like those. I have those trees to actually keep them a nice shadow there. But yeah, here the street doesn't look that well. Very narrow. Very, let's say, not so well maintained. When I go to those small ones. Yeah, probably again with those countries. It's gonna be a tough bet here, because clearly in the cities, at least, it seems like they doing decent. Not well, not great, decent. Yeah, this one probably is gonna be like a rich district here. Look at this housing. Yeah, they're all made the same, I guess, and they're under construction, so probably they didn't sell them yet. But it looks like one of those districts for the rich capitalist part of the communist country. So yeah, it looks pretty nice. Let's say some French influence, you can call it like that. Clearly the architecture, it is pretty nice, even though they pretty much all look the same. And we have a French car here, I think. Oh no, it's a Peugeot or a Nissan. Probably it's a Nissan, I'm not sure. Let me check again. No, it's a Peugeot, so a French car. Yeah, it looks like a French district, let's call it like that. Pretty nice, I have to say, pretty nice. Expensive, most likely, and you can see there are a lot of them here. So this new neighborhood, let's call it like that, clearly not for the average guy, not from that guy that has like 5,000 US dollar per capita. Clearly it's not for him, one of those giant houses. Now, I ain't kind of bothered, they all look the same, so clearly a very communist thing to do. Just get, we're gonna have better housing, nice, but they're all gonna be the same. So if you go home drunk, you have to know exactly where you live, otherwise you're gonna have some problems. And hopefully the keys from the locks, they're not all the same, but I suspect they're not. Those looks like an apartment buildings. I don't think they are individual houses. Maybe they sell as individual houses, and they have this blend in the front of them. Where are you gonna park your car, by the way? Let me check on the other street. Maybe they have, okay, they have in the back, and you can actually enter with a car and park it there. Or they didn't think of that, of cars, when they build this one. I don't think you go with car here. Yeah, where do you park your car? Here? On the side? This one? Probably, yeah, probably that's one they're gonna park your car. So they have two entrances. One for the car and the other one for the... No? Kind of strange a bit for me. But yeah, it looks like you're gonna park it there. Who knows? And those are apartment buildings, I guess, because it looks kind of tall. I don't think they have that multiple store housing, but maybe they're individual houses. Yeah, the parking space not so well so far, and I don't think you can leave your car outside this gated community and go without a car. But clearly there's a new way of building things in Vietnam, I guess, for the rich people there, but doesn't look, I mean, it just, they try to look great, and they make every single project the same because clearly they're gonna save some cost, and they're gonna also speed the construction, I guess. It looks pretty nice when you have just one. When you have all of them the same, it kind of ruined the fact but I guess it is what it is. Oh, this one is not available. I want to see that. Okay, let's go on the other side. This one, it's a bit warmer, let's call it like that. Clearly an apartment building, but not so high. Nice windows. Actually pretty nice. You know what? Actually pretty nice, I have to say. Pretty nice. Again, I have no idea how much money it's gonna cost to buy one of those, but clearly it's not gonna be accessible to anyone. If every single Vietnamese, yeah, well, at least those in the cities, like that, live in apartments like that, that would be actually pretty nice to have that nice apartments. Even this one, not too high, not one of those nonsense high buildings, just the right amount of stores, the right amount of people living in there, taking care of them, nice spaces for cars, parking them, close to where you want to go. Pretty good, but you can see the case is not for every single one of them. Clearly it's a parking for whatever is happening there. Now let's move on, because if you go like this in this rate, we're gonna make this video like 5 hours long. So yeah, check this part, pretty much very close to a city, in under construction. They have these wood frames here that they use as ladders, maybe, I don't know. Here in the West we're using aluminum stairs, but I guess everyone doing their own thing. Roads pretty good here. Housing pretty not so good, but still decent. Let's call it like that. A lot of flags with the symbolize the flag of the country. Dental care, that's not pretty safe, let's call it like that. Okay, so yeah, I want to go in the southern part of the country. Let's check that one. Let's go first on the beach. Let's see if we can actually see something interesting. That's a lot of people living so close to the beach. Yeah, that's exactly that's what I want to say. Probably you're gonna expect a lot of garbage here. So yeah, we can see a lot of garbage, a lot of people. What is this? It's a boat, it's a whale. I guess it's a boat upside down. Can't be a whale. Oh, there's not. Yeah, that's a boat. That's a whale for the guy's second. So far I didn't see those nice landscape that you see when you Google Vietnam, but I guess we're gonna stay in the cities because that's where the people actually live. But maybe we get lucky to see those nice landscape. Now this one I don't like it. A lot of cables, a lot of people. Road pretty good. A lot of chaos in the street. So yeah, I guess Southeast Asia, Indochina, Vietnam, this is how you can expect there when you go. The problem with all those countries, it's, I guess, this one right here, Thailand, which is gonna be a much better destination. But it is what it is. I guess it's not like the it don't came up with something here to actually attract some tourists. But yeah, you have Thailand so close to you, you're gonna have some troubles, let's call it like that. Again, expensive car. These are taxi cars. Now they are yellow, so they have, I don't know, every city they can choose a different color. It's not like the same in all the country. Now it looks like Miami Beach here. But yeah, they're building those hotels, residential area, apartment buildings, whatever they do. Clearly a playbook from the West, I would say. They see them that they work really well there, say, okay, we're gonna do the same thing. Now, it's not a bad thing to copy the good things, but I don't consider, again, those high buildings that great. Now, this is under construction, so, but still, this garbage kind of bothers me, even if it is under construction. Now, on the countryside, let's see this road. Let's see how well this road it is. And it's pretty decent, I have to say. Yeah, not so well lined, but pretty decent. Pretty decent. Whew, South Vietnam. Let me check again if you are on the map. Where is the country? They have like that, the shape. Okay, so Ho Chi Minh is right there. Let's check Ho Chi Minh. Let's check the Ho Chi Minh city. Wow, a lot of street. I really appreciate they have a lot of street views, so I can have a lot of information, so I can actually see them. I would appreciate more if it were of better quality, but I guess I'm kind of picky right now, so I should be glad that at least I have a street view. Yeah, it looks pretty much like a Southeast Asian city. Nice Mazda, by the way, so clearly people are doing well here too. Now, like I say, it's gonna be a tough decision between leaving the, that's probably that Vietnamese car, leaving the city, and I would assume they have some comforts, at least those that they're doing pretty well, decent, medium, let's say, income, to live from the countryside, to live in those areas, because clearly in the countryside it's not gonna have that much comfort, I would say, that modern comfort, but we're gonna look at that in a minute, because I have a feeling that I stay a bit too much in the cities. Now again, a nice Toyota here, a lot of cables there. This apartment building, whatever it is, doesn't look that well. Roads, again, pretty good, especially from the scooters. You can navigate them very well and very fast. What I like about those Asian cities so far, it feels again a bit more loose, not so tight with that many regulation, but that can go, like I say, if you go too loose of the regulation, you go in that insane nonsense, which you're gonna see pretty much garbage and shit on the road every single meters. Now this one, it's a very narrow road, but I like those plans, how those people actually say, okay, it's a narrow road, they're gonna make them slow down the life here, let's call it like that, and we're gonna use pretty much a lot of scooters, and pretty much there's no way you can enter with the car, and looks quite nice. But again, look at this, probably in this area you're never gonna have the sunlight here, so I will not want to live here or work in here or even walking here at night. Doesn't look that safe, and this barbed wire doesn't reinforce my confidence in this street. So yeah, not well, I would say. In this one especially, that much, you can see that narrow, no way, it looks horrible. Wow, what the fuck is that? I don't like it. Nope, not for me. Way too narrow, way too small. No, I'm not sure how this guy make this 360 view, this street view here, but good for them. It looks like hell to me. If somebody make me to describe hell, I would say exactly like this. Yeah, let's go. No way, I want to stay in that region. Just nope, thank you. So Ho Chi Minh City actually so far pretty jammed together, let's call it like that. Some potholes here, not that clean. A lot of stores on those main streets, a lot of stores. Again, we have 100 million people. They're gonna buy some stuff eventually, even they don't have that much economic power. But from the internal, let's say, economic power, Probably they can do decent. Again, those apartment buildings, that's a no-no for me, and they build another thing here. Hopefully not another one. This one looks a bit much better, but I don't have exactly a decent view. This one, again, it's a pretty much big house. Even if you have a house, I'm not a big fan. Okay, that's a Ford Ranger, again, expensive car. I get the thing that you don't have a lot of space. If you have your house with a common wall with your neighbor, you live in pretty much in an apartment, not in an individual house. That's my take on this one. And I am not a big fan of multiple store house. Also, I like just one level house, and but for that, again, you have to have a bigger land. So yeah, I guess when you don't have that much land, you have to build vertically. I like those banana trees. I want to plant my banana trees this summer because so far I have it in a pot, and it didn't do that well. So I hope when I plant it in a garden, it's gonna do much better. So yeah, hopefully I'm gonna have some bananas one day, so I don't have to buy them anymore. This one, pretty decent, but again, huge house, and I have no idea what this guy is doing here, but probably doesn't live in this house, and it's in front of your house, so it's not gonna be that comfortable. A lot of scooters, just park them there on the sidewalk. That's again pretty bad, I would say. Clearly this area, it's a bit more rich, I would say that, but yeah, it is clearly a new one, but not great, I would say. Also not that great. Now let's go. You can see this Ho Chi Minh part of the country. This city looks pretty nice, I have to say, but again, it's look as nice as it could be. Not something that I want to live there, definitely. But visiting, that's a different discussion. I have no idea what the fuck is that, but I guess it's an art. The beach looks pretty good, pretty clean also. Yeah, pretty clean. Now, I have no idea. Probably those images that we saw, they are not actually on the beach. They're in the mountains. I might be wrong, but we're gonna check that to make sure. This part here, not so bad, and the road impeccable. So yeah, clearly those in those part of the countries, in those part of the world here in the Southeast China, so far, I was, again, probably I got some low expectation, but I was kind of impressed with the road quality. They were pretty good, most of them. So yeah, I have to give them that. Infrastructure wise, pretty decent. There are room to improve, but pretty decent base. I don't know what happened here, but all those trees are dead. Some rocks there from above. Look like a resort there. I would say clearly the economy is decent. Not for 100 million people. They're pretty much almost the same size economic as my country, and we are like 5 times less people here, even lower than that, and we're going down in population, not up. So yeah. It's gonna be much better. Now I always look from those bonsai trees that have those flowers, and I have one a long time ago. I don't think it's a bonsai now. I used to have one of those bonsai trees. I think it's a bonsai tree. I don't know exactly how they call it, but I'm looking for another one to replace that, and I cannot find one because I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. So if you know, just send me a comment and tell me exactly how the species is named, because now I have one of those ginseng one, the basic one, and it doesn't do anything, just stay green and that's it. And I kind of want that one that actually has flower, that pink flowers, but I have no idea what species it is, and I can look for one. Well, where should we go now to find those actually interesting parts? Probably in the mountains. I want to check the local area. Let's say those small ones, small towns, small villages, like this one. Let's see how those people live. The road, again, this is 2024, so pretty recently. Again, quality fucked up as always. They have a road, judging by the way they look, probably it's a concrete road. They have some cell phone towers there, so at least they have cell phone signal, probably some decent internet speed. But yeah, not that much here. Some garbage here on the side, and this road is pretty much covered in dirt. They have a lot of red dirt here, so probably rich in iron, I guess. Again, I'm not exactly a chemist, but it looks like that to me. What else can you see here? Well, not that much. Again, it's one of those small villages. That's exactly what I'm going for, to see exactly how those let's say not so favorized people living. And the condition is not that well here, I have to say. Let's check another one. Maybe we got one bad area, and there's other better ones to see. Let's check this one. Looks a bit bigger, this one. So yeah, we have Ho Chi Minh, I think it's right there. So we see some communists. Again, we cannot leave the country without see at least one of those communist posters. So we got lucky again. Oh, look how many there are here. Pretty nice indeed. Pretty nice. Road, pretty nice again. This one, the sidewalk, not so well, but at least the road is pretty nice. This bike, it's a Honda, I guess. Looks also brand new. Pretty well maintained at least. Yeah. Okay, this one doesn't look so bad. Clearly it's more urbanized, let's call it like that. A lot of flags here. Communist flag, I think, or I don't know exactly, maybe it's Vietnamese flag. Again, road pretty good. I like this green on the middle, this green strip on the middle of the road. Housing, wow, you know what, not so bad actually. I kind of like that house. That house was actually pretty nice. And this is what the fuck happened here. Just they put they put their tables in on the first lane of the road, so you say fuck it, we're gonna stay right here. Yeah, that's kind of bad, but I guess it is what it is. Is how things are going there. Wow, this one I don't like it. It's garbage. Maybe the garbage truck was broken today. I have no idea, but it doesn't look that well. Whew. Here, housing, well, I don't like that one. That's an interesting truck. Yeah, maybe we have to go on the side of the road to actually see better house. Probably that was the Communist Party building in the area, I guess. Again, I don't know. Let's check this 360 here. Not that many on those small streets, so I can actually judge them, how they look. This is clearly, it's the military. Some communist thing happened here. Some communist activity, I would say. I have no idea what they do. Those are new recruits or what? What's happening here? We have some barbed wire here. They are not allowed to cross the barbed wire. A lot of people there. No idea what's happening, but looks like some sort of event. This one, well, let's see this one. Oh shit. Road not so well in this part here. Housing not so well again. They have electric power. Yes, they have that. So that's nice. At least they have that. They have some loose chicken right here. Where is the banana tree? Yeah, right here. So at least we have a banana tree, which is pretty nice. This pole right in the middle of this guy land. That's pretty bad place to put them. Yeah, clearly this poverty here. I'm not sure even somebody lives here. Maybe it's in their abandoned building. Not all of them, I see. Some of them, they are livable. You can see like that one. I see a scooter right there. Yeah, those parts doesn't look so well when you go. And we are still in Vietnam, right? I didn't fucked up. I didn't go across the border. So no, we are still in Vietnam. Not so well. Not so well, I have to say. Let's check those roads in the middle of nowhere. Road pretty good. I have no idea where they're going, but we're gonna stay on this road for a bit. Yeah, I wish I have some street view here, or at least 360, because it looks pretty nice. And I would be exactly curious in how those people live in those areas, but I guess I can't. Let's check this one. Well, we have a 360, probably from someone's house. from above. Okay, that's pretty decent too. So it's a house here, some concrete here, some sort of device here. I have no idea what it is. Oh, it's an antenna. Okay. Yeah, pretty abandoned, looks like. I'm not sure if somebody actually lived there, but I guess they have to. This small house actually is pretty nice, I have to say. Let's see if we can actually check that front of the house, because they are a street view here. I think we got a bit too forward. Let's go backwards a bit. What the fuck? I have to go backwards now. I guess it was that house. No, someone. That looks like an expensive new cars to me. And this is 2025. Oh, very recently. That's probably the recent that I saw. And the quality is still fucked up. So yeah, just change the camera, buddy. I get it, you do a lot of work here, but still use a great camera. Now the road not that well. That I saw probably was this one. It's not a house. But this one looks a bit different. No, so yeah, not a great place to live, I would say. Yeah, outside those main cities, we have something here. Not that welcoming, let's say it like that. Wow, that's welcoming. Look at this. That's a bar. So many lights, so many things happen here. Or a game room. Wow, looks like an event or something. It's someone's birthday or what? Pretty chaotic, I would say. You know what? It's pretty much typical from what I expected. Communist country. We see some small communist propaganda. So I expect again. I expected to see at every corner, every pole, some poster, but it's not like that. Pretty nice. Again, roads pretty good most of the time. The way the people build the housing, not so well. You can see that low GDP per capita is gonna count for something. Medical system, not so well. Some of the people doing really well. So yeah, that's pretty much a general rule now. You can see, doesn't matter where we're going in this journey that we start here on this channel. That's an expensive car, by the way. We always gonna see rich people and poor people no matter what. So yeah, it's pretty much something you have to expect. That's a decent road gate. It's something that we have to expect now. The main problem, I would say, is this insane population, rising population. Look at this. And they're gonna stabilize around 110 million people, which is still a lot. They start in 1950, so 100 years from 2050, they start with 30 million, and then they end up with 110 million people. So you can see an 80 million population increase, which is almost 3 times than they start with. And the difference between 3 times the population actually from 30 million to 110 million, it's almost 4 times. And it's a huge amount of people just arriving in the country in the natural way, let's call it like that, in such a short time. So like I say, Vietnam has like 10 million people, much more different, much better country. But probably, who knows, maybe by the end of the 22nd century, we're gonna see something close to that, because there is a trend right now in the world that population go down. It was pretty interesting to be born in this period, and you can see and probably if I live for the next 50 years, hopefully, I'm gonna see the peak population of the planet, especially in the modern era, which is quite an achievement, I would say. That's pretty nice here, those caves. That's a nice place to visit. It's gonna be a pretty interesting observation. You can actually see in my lifetime, if I live that long, see the population actually on the planet going down. I already see population going down, I think in European Union and also in Europe. Probably we're gonna see going down in the native population of the Western world. We still have a lot of migrants. And then we're gonna see the population going down all over the Western world with migration. and then eventually population going down overall on the planet. And that would be an interesting place to see, because I expect some huge differences in policies and in the way we do things. Also, like I say, the war is coming, so that's another thing to keep in mind. Now, on the countryside, actually looks pretty nice. That's not a boat, but it's nice way how they do it. Here, this is, keep in mind, this is Vietnam, right? Yeah, we're looking at Vietnam. We have to mention the war in Vietnam. So, yeah, there is that. And what can you say about that? So the country that used to be at war still remain communist. They preserve that, and they're not doing that bad, but also not that well. Or again, but we're gonna see once the population is stabilized. Usually, when you have a population, that's stability is key for everything. If you have a stable population, even if they go down, if the population go down like my country, and you have still a growth in the GDP for this this way, that shows the population is much more efficient than it used to be. Now the problem is the government still spends more than actually they should, and that's how they drag the problems, but that's manageable very easily by some policy. So that's not a huge task, you just don't want to do it, obviously. But those countries like mine, we should do pretty much okay for the next, I don't know, 25 years. Even better, I would say, with some great politicians. Now, oh, some banana trees, but I don't see bananas, so that's kind of, this is 2021, so I guess they are too young to make bananas. I'm not sure. Road here, yeah, it's a concrete one, especially in this place. Housing, again, this is a countryside, which is not that bad looking, I have to say. And keep in mind, probably, I'm not sure exactly where the war is was happening, probably all over the country, but the main one, I guess, the main battles. But we see some Viet Cong video games that I used to play, and they look like these areas now. So yeah, in these areas, pretty nice. Probably this is why we get those nice pictures in Vietnam. I guess they have to be a lake somewhere to make even better. We have the lake, so let's check this one. It is pretty nice, I have to say. Pretty nice. The main problem is Thailand. You can have a much better time there. That's probably the main thing here, the main problem for those countries very close to Thailand, because the Western kind of got used to it with them, and the place is actually pretty nice in Thailand. So that's probably the main problem for those countries, and also communist. But landscape wise, I would say pretty good. Yeah, in a city, don't go for the cities in those countries. Not like we're going to Paris, going to Milano, we're going to, let's say, Madrid, Barcelona. Those are cities that you actually want to see, not, how was that, Ho Chi Minh and Haiyon, something like that. You're not going here for the cities, you are going here for the landscape, and how those people actually spend their life in a traditional way. So yeah, I guess we can finish this video already, because what more can we say about this place? Pretty nice. Population, again, still on the rise, but it looks like they kind of stabilize that. Hopefully with the good policies, they're actually gonna manage to do very well for most of the people. That's a pretty nice road. That's a nice Suzuki Vitara. Good for them. That's a nice dam. That's a nice lake. That's some nice fog right there. Whew. Yeah, I guess it is what it is. That's it. I don't think I need to add anything. We saw some propaganda. We saw some decent areas. Even like this one. Oh, this is pretty nice. Look at this. This is a resort, I guess. Now, one thing that you should never do in those resorts, just adventure outside in those holes, because from what I understand, they are full of snakes. So yeah, this is the picture that we see when we Google Vietnam landscape and stuff like that. And it looks pretty nice. I have some, I used to do photography, and we kind of post my picture on on a site that was dedicated for the photographers, and I saw a few of those in the Vietnam, and they were looking pretty nice. So you can see deep in the mountains they are hiding, and in this area I expect to see even more than that. I don't know why they are so few 360s, not even a street view, because they look pretty nice. This is exactly what European would come here to see, things like this. Not I don't know, on the beach at least I didn't see that nice, or on the in the cities. So yeah, clearly that was a much better way to actually live. Hopefully we are still in Vietnam. Didn't fucked up, right? That's great. Yeah, I guess that's it for this video. I hope you enjoy it, like it. I think the Sri Lanka video was pretty good in my opinion, and I say a few interesting things there in my opinion again. If you want to look that, check that. That would be interesting even for those people that have no intention to visit Sri Lanka, and also much more interesting for those people probably that living in Sri Lanka. That's them here, and clearly they have some technology. Look at this, this guy using a drone. He's very happy about it. Yeah, that's it. See you in the next video. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do tomorrow, but again, we're gonna stay in the region. We have to do every single country, like I say. Probably Cambodia is gonna be next, and Malaya, I guess, from tomorrow. We're gonna see. Check the other videos, and if you have something to comment, to add, if you're living in the country, if you have YouTube there and you want to comment, see exactly how the people live, how you live there, what is the situation, how you think the things gonna improve there in the future, you can leave a comment anytime.